Hey guys, what's up? It's Terradog and welcome back to GT Sport, episode 16. For our first race, we have a one-make event in the Peugeot Sport 208 GTI. At Dragon Trail, and as you'll see, I managed an excellent qualifying lap. I qualified on pole, so this is going to be another one of those don't mess up and you win sort of scenarios. This is the third time I have ever managed to do this, so I'm going to brake a little bit late coming in because it's the first lap. I want to make sure the car behind stays behind me. Going to jump the curb here, get on the brakes nice and early. As soon as I get the car straightened out, using some left foot braking to get into the apex. We're going to pull out, accelerate about 60 miles an hour before shifting, because otherwise this car bogs down like you won't even believe it. Coming into the S section, we are going to brake nice and early with some left foot braking to get the car rotated in, and we can pull away. Not so bad. Right to the next corner. Just past the ground, red bit, start to brake. Get the brakes really nice and heavy. Get on into the corner nice and early. Right on the edge there. Any more to the inside, and that would have been a corner cutting penalty right there. I was right on the edge of what was determined as legal use of the track. Coming to the chicane here, I'm going to try to brake a bit early. I tried to brake early, but I ended up braking a little later than I intended. It cost me some speed, and the car behind starts to gain. Approaching the final corner here. Still going to brakes nice and early. Make sure I can get the car rotated in. It's a little bit of left foot braking. The car behind runs wide. Attempts to cut back, but it's no good. Too fast through that section, through that corner. Accelerating up to the home straight. Let's jump on board for my fastest lap. The fastest lap of the race. So now, brake a little earlier, just past the red section here. I'm coming into the chicane. I'm going to put the car in nice and tight, very close to the wall. I'm going to shift a bit early because the tires were spinning. I'm not really sure that actually helped. I'm going to jump in here nice and early, ride that curve. Actually, I was a little late. Okay, jumping on the brake, putting the car in as close to the wall as I dare, and then getting on the gas, getting out of there as fast as I can. Coming up to the S section again, this is the one corner that determines whether you are going to win or lose, pretty much. Braking nice and early, getting a very nice traditional line through into that first corner, and just gliding right through the rest of them. Pulling away by, I want to say, about another second maybe on the car behind. All I have to do is maintain the gap. I'm going to brake nice and a little bit later here, actually, because I was braking a little too early before. Shove the car in through the corner, I pull it right out, making sure to accelerate above 60 before putting in third. Coming into the S, I'm in the chicane here, the bus stop chicane. I'm going to jump on the brakes much earlier this time, and I'm going to look through the wall to see where my exit is. Because you just kind of you know, use your imagination. I don't know. This really kind of reminded me of trying to do rally events in GC6. Okay, now coming down a final corner, braking nice and early on the brakes, dumping the car in with some left foot braking. We're going to get out of that corner as fast as possible. I ended up shifting a little early, but and maybe that was all right. Still ended up being my fastest lap anyway because it was my fastest lap. Okay, so now it's the final lap. Car behind me. Car in P2 is about 3 seconds behind, 2 seconds behind, something like that. Maybe not that far behind yet. Coming into turn 1, it's business as usual. Not quite. I'm actually a little bit late. You know, the pressure is on. I've held it this far. This is the final lap. Keep everything nice and tidy. Dump it in very close to the wall again. Get on the throttle, get above 60 before putting it in third, and then we are off to the high-speed S section. On the brakes nice and early. Dumping the car in. Running a little wide, wider than planned anyway, but I still managed to hold on to it quite nicely. And it looks like I'm pulling away from the car behind. We are coming in. It's sort of a hairpin, not really a hairpin, but yeah, very nice line from there. Could have been better, as you see I got a little too wide too early on the exit. Coming up to the bus stop chicane. And I'm a bit late on the brake. Coming through slow. Car behind is going to gain. The pressure's on now. Keep it nice and tidy into the final corner. And now the braking, not quite, no, braking a little early, a little bit early, a little bit of handbrake to you know, kind of convince the car to turn in a little more, and I'm out of the final corner. Coming up, we have the checkered flag, a little bit of high beam flashing to celebrate, and across the line. And despite not actually racing with anyone else pretty much for the most part, you know, I knew, you know, the pressure was on, don't make any mistakes, and I'm not really good with FF cars, but here, this track, I feel like I'm more familiar with this track now, and so, you know, after a couple races, I was able to get a good feel for the car. It actually handles nicer than some other FFs that I've driven in this game. So it's very easy to manage around this course. It's just about being patient and taking your time, and you don't expect the brake points that you use in Group 4 race cars to work, because obviously they have more grip, not just from having better tires, but from also having downforce. So when you take all of that into consideration, you back up your brake points a little bit and really dial in where you're going to brake. You know, it's really what it all comes down to, is you brake at just the right point so that when you hit that apex, you have enough, you're not too slow, you're at the edge of the amount of speed that you can take to exit, and you can get right on the throttle at that apex and just get out. Alright, so that's going to do it for our first race. stay tuned for the next race.
Anyway, so earlier this morning I tried to make a video and I didn't really have a lot of time and I didn't really make the video that I wanted to make. Point is, okay, there's been an update to GT6. We are GT Sport, and so we are now on version 1.06. So we got 3 new cars, none of which I can afford. Some adjustments to the physics model. The simulation model was improved, especially improving controllability of stock commercial models, which exhibit less grip on the road. I have done some driving around in arcade mode, and I'm not noticing much of a difference, but it's hard to tell. But maybe a slight bit of what do you call it? Of an improvement. Let's see, control management, the standard ABS was improved. I don't even use that, so that has no effect on me. Control management of rear drive cars with TCS setting higher than 2. Again, I don't use TCS, so it doesn't affect me, but that was also improved. Campaign mode can now be played offline. Difficulty level of driving skill and mission challenges were adjusted accordingly with the improvements in the physics. The difficulty levels for the gold, silver, bronze awards were adjusted. However, player progress, whatever they already achieved so far, is saved. Now use livery editor offline. Haven't gotten into that yet. Museum has been added to Bugatti. It's now a warning indicator when the remaining fuel becomes low. I thought there already was a warning indicator for that. So, it's going to blink red. I don't know. Maybe they added something else new. More stuff to sound balance, escapes, sport mode. So here's what is important, I think. Well, before I get to the important parts, they have you now have some canned messages you can use for the chat, the sport mode lobby, basically, because unless you have a desktop keyboard plugged in and ready to go, you're not going to have any time to chat. So it's nice that you can just have a pre-selected greeting to punch in. I actually do have a desktop keyboard plugged in, but I just don't bother jumping in the chat in sport mode. I don't usually know any of the people I'm racing with in sport mode. I usually reserve chatting with friends, because things usually work out better that way. So now, it is now possible to download and play back the replays of top-ranking drivers in the daily race qualifying time attack rankings. So, yay, I've been wishing for that sort of a feature for so long, because the way the qualifying is, it reminds me of the Super Lap time trial events, seasonal events from GT6, where you would be able to view the replay of the top 10 and you get some kind of clue of where am I doing wrong when you're trying to improve your lap. We now also have an antenna display indicating the connection status or quality in member lists, which is all well and good, but if I'm going to get a negative SR hit when I back out of a race, then I don't really know if that really has much impact. You're going to get hit with negative SR for backing out, or possibly for having laggy people glitch through you or into you. But that brings me on to the next subject, which is the judgment algorithm of the sportsmanship rating has been improved. Now, it doesn't say exactly how the algorithm has been improved. It just says that in the screen indications, it is also now possible to see the reductions in the SR of not only yourself, but of other drivers involved in a contact incident with your car. So hopefully there has been some change so that when other people ram, the problem before was, let's say someone rams you and maybe they end up throwing themselves off the track in the process, you get hit with a massive penalty for something that is not even your fault, and you could have maybe had the podium in sight, and now you're all the way down to last place after serving this penalty. So, you know, garbage like that would really get me pissed off in sport mode, to the point that I really didn't want to put that sort of thing online. So this is what we have now. So, I'm going to jump into sport mode. Oh yeah, there has also, I also forgot to mention, balance of performance, rebalancing. So, especially in Group 4, there's been an issue with the Beetle being, you know, a bit OP. And, yeah, I didn't see that touched at all. Alright, so in GT6, in the quick match events, you would notice that the balance of performance, you know, would be applied to the cars. To some extent, you know, there'd be adjusted power, adjusted weight. And what we often find is that maybe, and it didn't even matter actually if it was loaner cars with balance of performance or garage cars with some performance point restriction. No matter what, after a couple weeks, maybe if that, the entire session would always fill up with almost all the same car, because eventually someone found out which car was the fastest for that particular event, for that track, and everyone else would start copying whoever found out which car was the fastest who would be winning, right? Until everyone's using the same car. And then it basically ends up being a one make, except for those one or two casuals, I guess, I don't know, one or two people at least, who for some reason don't choose to use that car, and they get completely annihilated. Sometimes literally, oftentimes, because of just the way people would drive in a quick match. Man, that's sad. So, yeah. So, you know, I was expecting that would eventually be an issue here, but it haven't happened quite as fast in GT Sport. It took longer for people to find out which cars were the fastest, and then we would often see that it depended on the track as well. This is my last chance to make a good lap. I'm already going to start behind. Let's make this my best lap. best that I can possibly do. Keep going away. This final. Let's see, make this one. race, make that 3 Black Knight, 4 in GT6. Alright, so, you know, pretty uneventful race, but, you know, it's not a bad thing. Actually, for a little more. Pretty uneventful race, but that's not a bad thing. You know, we got to see some of the new features. So, you know, while I would like to kind of get a chance to see the new SR judgment algorithm in action, I'm happy to have a clean race. So I'm going to leave that there. That is going to conclude this video. See you guys next time.